Hello YouTubers, this is the Scribe and thank you for watching this YouTube video. Right, so I know you guys who watch my videos or are coming onto this video have been around for long enough to know what the lockdowns were in 2020. So if you're watching this video, you sort of have an understanding that they happened. So here's the thing, when the first lockdown came on, I kind of just took no notice of it. I just did more or less what I wanted to do during that period. So they said, oh, you can't go out after this time and all this. I didn't pay any attention to that. I sort of did what I needed to do and when I wanted to. And if I wanted to go for an extra run that day, I went for an extra run. If I wanted to go to a friend's house, I went to a friend's house. If I wanted to go in a shop without a mask, I went in the shop without a mask. I didn't pay any attention to all the fear mongering on the public, like the media and a lot of the politicians were pumping out, and they're just desperate to do it again. Now, why are they so interested in doing these lockdowns? Well, it's all connected, I think, to the climate change agenda. Now, when I say climate change agenda, the climate's always changing, but what it is really is it's to keep people where they are, basically. So it's to keep people in business where they are so that they can't move up. It's to keep people who live a certain area where they are so they can't move around the way they want. This is why they talk about 15-minute cities and stuff like this. And they make, things like Zeitgeist make it try to make it sound like it's a great thing. It's not. So when they do these lockdowns, what I think it is it's control, right? They're controlling the population to think and feel a certain way. And then people will say, well, what about businesses? What about corporations and all this? As if they're worried about those. Well, the truth of the matter is the economy isn't under any kind of stress or threat by these lockdowns. It just isn't. The lockdowns have practically very little effect on the economy. And then people say, well, hang on a minute, how's that possible? Well, the truth is that a lot of the people who were allegedly being locked down, like retail workers and stuff like that, were still working, right? The service stations were still open. Nurses and doctors were still working. And besides for things like bus services and, in some ways taxi services, which were limited, everything else was actually running. The main thing that was different was these days in comparison to, let's say, when they were trying to do it years and years ago with the cow thing, what was it, mad cow disease, and then before that with the HIV agenda, is that history tends to repeat itself with fear mongering. That they love this kind of thing. They love pumping fear into people. But when you have an economy that actually runs itself, now this is what they don't tell you. The economy runs itself. How does it do it? Well, most of the banking service is done by computers. Most of the retail service is done by computers and automation. Most of the banking systems, or like answering phones and stuff like that, all computers. Automation upon automation upon automation. So you have farmers who used to plough fields and all that with their bare hands, and over time you've got these combine harvesters, and then nowadays you'll be even surprised to hear that some of those combine harvesters can actually drive themselves. So it's ridiculous. So a lot of it's automation, and you don't realize just how much automation there actually is out there these days. It's a lot. In fact, most people are only needed to run the machines, and some of these machines can run themselves. So basically you get machines fixing other machines, which is ridiculous. Of course, with the retail business, you do have one or two retail workers on standby in case the till actually fucks up. But unless you're working in a corner shop, which weren't closed down during the lockdowns, by the way, they were for a little while, like a week or so, but after that it came back on. Unless you're working behind a till, like in a small shop, a lot of it's automation these days, and that's the key factor. That's the thing that people didn't realize what was going on. So they're not worried about the economy in the same way you think. I mean, they have plenty of workers in the economy field, and we're all taking part of it in some way. We're all working in some kind of way, I suppose. But most things today are just different than they used to be. It's not the same world as it was 10 years ago, and it certainly isn't the same world as it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I mean, I remember I remember the HIV agenda, which was really a reproduction thing where they wanted to cut down population, which is basically what the social distancing and everything is all about. If you believe people are diseased, you're not going to go anywhere near them. So I do believe it's connected to the climate change agenda, and I also believe it's connected to not just social conditioning and keeping people separate so they don't actually have lots and lots of children. I believe that a lot of this is down to the fact that they have enough people in work to do the job that's needed to run the economy, that they can just fuck with the rest of people. That's what I think it's about. I mean, why would they want to do that? Well, they want to keep everybody, as I said before, in their place. So if you're poor, they want to keep you poor. If you're looking for work, well, they want to keep you looking for work. They don't want you to find anything that's good for you or to level yourself up the way you should rather be trying to do. I mean, everybody should be trying to level themselves up in some way, shape or form. And because of this, they want this control on society, because they don't want people running around taking up the space that they want. I mean, a lot of the elites who have all these boats and, you know, cruise ships and all this, they're like running around the world and doing whatever they want and going down and sinking to the bottom of the Titanic and then getting crushed by certain things. But a lot of these types actually do not want you taking up space. Right? And where it's all heading down, unfortunately, is into a matrix type of thing, which is eye coffins, I used to call them. If you had a look at things like in places like Japan, they built these like iPods, which are, well, not iPods, they're things that people can go in and sleep, but they're very small. And I said the only difference between that and a coffin is a coffin's on the ground and you can't get out. This one's above ground. So they're keeping people in smaller and smaller spaces, like smaller and small homes, and calling it a good thing. And that's really what they want. They want to restrict people's movements. And the whole climate agenda thing, I think, is to keep people away from areas where the rich and the elites like to go. That's as simple as it is. I do not believe that, in retrospect, that they're maybe trying to kill us. I'm not sure if they're trying to do that or not, because, you know, they can't feed off you if they kill you. Or, but of course, if they don't see you as useful anymore, then that could be a problem. Which is also the second thing I like to talk about, which is the economy thing. Here come the police, you know, talking about second lockdowns. God, that's bloody fucking loud. So yeah, the lockdown thing with the second lockdown and the economy, I don't believe that it would damage the economy at all. I think people are being manipulated in thinking that the economy is under threat as they think it actually is. They will still run the economy. The only difference is education will go down the drain. So children are not getting taught the basic skills like maths and English. Other subjects are less important, but you really need to understand how to add things up so you can count your change and stuff like that. Not to the point where they do it, but you know, proper education where you learn how to do woodwork, etc., is all being limited during these lockdowns, which is putting people into a useless state. And that's unfortunate. I don't think people should be put into useless states. I think they should be put in a state where they can actually feel like they improve and learn something. The lockdowns are all about control, and they will continue on with them if they are allowed to. And when I say allowed to, if they see enough people going crazy for lockdowns, then they will continue to produce these kind of things on the population, and they'll claim that the economy is going down because they don't want you to have anything which is useful for you. So they prefer you to be living in a cardboard box at this point. The truth of the matter is the economy is more about how much is built up. So, buildings and things in place like commercial centres and factories, that's the economy, okay? The thing that is an economy is the money. Right, now people would also say like money's fake. No, I don't mean money's fake. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the most important thing about the economy is the assets, the buildings, the things that are already in place, the roads, the hospitals built, the factories built, the restaurants built, the bowling alleys built, the snooker tables all made and built up. That's your economy, right? The money is just so you can sort of move through this economy, this world, right? So the economy isn't under threat by any kind of lockdowns. What is under threat is you, is me, is people who are not in that top percentage where they consider to be useful. That's the threat. That's the problem we have. And they want to make us as useless as possible, and they'll claim that you're lazy. After that, what happens is when they lock down the economy, they'll take people out of work, and then they'll wonder why people are out of work, and it's ridiculous, and then they'll call you lazy. That's where all this is heading, and that's my worry about where they're heading with this. God's sake, they're fucking annoying. What's up with all these fire trucks? Anyway, don't worry too much. If they do have a second lockdown, I suggest you build communities. Right? I suggest you go out there and gather enough people who are into the same thing as you. So what I mean is, you are connected with a community of like-minded individuals that will help you during this lockdown, if they go ahead with it. I'm not sure if they will. I can't really foresee it myself, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because they realised it worked so well the first time. Will it be as successful as the last time? Maybe not. But anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye for now. See you later. Bye.